What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Draft League Viability video. In this video, we're going to be talking about Silvally. Now, before we get started, please make sure you leave a like if you enjoy the video. Also, make sure you guys subscribe and you ring that bell so you never miss a video that I upload. I'm uploading Draft League Viability, Wi-Fi Battle. I have leagues coming back. I have a lot of fun stuff for you guys, so make sure you guys keep an eye out for it. But in this video, we're taking a suggestion from Discord, which you guys should join and give me suggestions on mons to use. And we're talking about Silvally. Now, Silvally is one of my favorite Pokemon to draft because Silvally, how do I put this nicely? If you're bad at drafting, Silvally is amazing, because if you realize that you just stacked a bunch of weaknesses, Silvally fixes it. If you realize that you went through the whole draft and you don't have a dark type, Silvally fixes it. If you went through the whole draft and realized you didn't draft a fairy, Silvally fixes it. If you don't have a fat enough water, Silvally fixes it. So like, this thing fixes everything on a bulky side and a pivot side. So with Silvally, what you want is you want Wish Pass because it doesn't have reliable recovery. You want hazards and you want offense. Those are the main things. You want another decent wall with it, but the main things you want is you want Wish Pass, you want hazards, and you want offense. The offense is really difficult depending on what you want your fat to be. So for me personally, I would want my offense to be something that is unique, that is cool, that is a little bit outside the norm to other people. I'm trying to think. I would probably want this thing with some type of weather, and the weather that I'm thinking of is this. I would want it with this, and if I could do this plus this plus this, that would be lit. That would be amazing. So if you don't know, this thing does get Strong Jaw, but it also gets Sand Rush. This also gets Sand Rush, and what these two do together is they force in a specific type of Pokemon every single time to be able to kill them. Dracovish forces in the Fat Waters, which Dracozolt can kill. And right here you have a team of Pokemon that is not weak to much aside from Fairy. You have your Stealth Rocks, you have really good phasing, you have really good revenge setup, not setup, but like sweeping mons because of sand. So I think this would be a lot of fun. It would be really hard to get, but I think it would be a lot of fun. You would have two really good sand sweepers and you would have both the fossils, which is pretty funny. So now you've got a really good Stealth Rocker, you've got a reliable Stealth Rocker, you've got a really good electric immunity. You want something that can switch into water type moves, preferably something that has water absorbs, that way you're immune to it. And I always go to Vaporeon, that is like the immediate go-to, but something that I think is even cooler is Jellicent here, because Jellicent, it means that now you don't have to worry about a ghost type. You don't have to worry about Silvally Ghost being your spin blocker. So now you have a really good core here. You have Parting Shot into your offensive mons. And the last thing that I would really want to pair with this thing is, and this is going by super quick, so I'm going to do another round with it just because I think this is a super easy way to build around it. I would want something else that pivots to get into Silvally, preferably a grass type. Let's see. Could go Celebi, but that's a little bit meh. Could go Zarude. Serena wouldn't be bad. I really like Serena with this, but it doesn't appreciate the Hail Chip. So Celebi, I'm gonna go Celebi here. And so now you're a little weak to Ghost and Dark. Well, you can have Silvally to patch that up. You can have, if you're a little weak, depending on how you build around this, you have another Stealth Rocker, you have pivoting. But the main reason why Celebi is the best grass type to get on any weather team aside from Sun, because it is one of the few grass types that get Recover instead of Synthesis. So if you're looking at Pokemon that you're drafting on a rain team, you want a grass type that can reliably recover itself without using Synthesis, because it only recover 25% instead of 50%. So things like Roost and Recover are pivotal on those weather teams. So this is one thing that I would probably try to get building around it. You could even go Tyranitar Phew, that's not a Tyranitar. Could go Tyranitar, so we have the dark type. That way you have two really good fighting resists here. You also have a decent-ish dark types where Silvally Dark isn't going to be your main answer to Fat Psychics. So this would be another really good team. And if you didn't want to bring Sand one week, you could bring Unnerve, or you could bring DD and have this be your sweeper and have these be your breakers. I think this would be a lot of fun. But what we're going to do is we're going to delete all of these, and we are going to try something else. So that was a quick one. But with Silvally, the one thing I don't want Silvally to ever be is I never want it to be a fairy type. I never want it to be a fairy type. I never want it to be a water type. So let's look at fairies first. Like, what would be a fun fairy to use with this that you could take round one if you're mid draft? Xerneas, of course. It's a shame there doesn't feel like there's that many fat fairies anymore. There just doesn't feel like it. I'm gonna go Grimmsnarl for a couple different reasons. What does its shiny look like? Oof, looks cool. Couple different reasons. One, the dual screens aspect of it is really, really nice. This also gives you the dark type to where you don't have to worry about Silvally being your dark type every single week. So now you have a Pokemon that can pivot into a fairy type, which is pretty useful. It's not a fat fairy, so getting other bulk around this would be pretty good, but it gives you that dark type to where you don't have to worry about Silvally being the fairy or the dark type any week, and you're pretty safe. So Grimmsnarl is pretty good. The other one that I would want to go for is a water type. And I'm really struggling not to put Vaporeon on this. As I say every single episode, Vaporeon is just like the go-to fat water type. If people don't look for a fat water type and immediately think, huh, Vaporeon first, I don't know what you're doing. So trying to think. You know what? We're gonna go Vaporeon because you need Wish Pass. You need Wish Pass. That's like something that you need to have with Silvally plus Grimmsnarl. You need to have a good Wish Pass. You get Haze, you get Roar, you get Wish, you get everything like that. So another kind of bulky-ish Pokemon I wouldn't mind putting with this. Preferably a Steel type. And I would want it to be a Steel type that could set up rocks, preferably, since I don't have one of those yet. Jirachi wouldn't be bad. But I used Jirachi in a recent video, so we're going to try to not do that. I think Duraludon would be pretty cool. I'm going to go Duraludon with this because you have pretty good momentum between Vaporeon and Silvally. You never have to worry about your Silvally being a Steel type or a Dragon type. Duraludon is really good at breaking down fat steels, which is super useful, especially if you want to draft something that is going to be your setup sweeper that can't really break fat steels. So like a Dragon Ansmon that doesn't get EQ or something along those lines, or a Shell Smashmon. So I really like this. Gives you a Stealth Rocker, but not a super good one. So what I would do here is I would want to get a fat Stealth Rocker. Preferably one that can also pivot. So I'm going to go Mesprit. And then a Cleaner. So if you're wondering why I'm going this route, if you look at this and you're like, wow, this is a really passive team with Silvally, Grimmsnarl, Vaporeon, and Mesprit, Silvally can be really, really offensive. With SD plus multi-attack getting the buff to 120 base power, whatever type you decide to be, whatever type you need to be able to break, this team is able to allow you to get up screens, break, have Duraludon break as well, and then clean with whatever cleaner you want. I'm thinking I would want a top tier cleaner. I would want it to be something really, really good. And I'm going to go Urshifu Rapid Strike. I'm gonna go Urshifu Rapid Strike for the offensive water. So so now this thing can't really break fairies all that well, but it can with like Poison Jab and stuff like that. But like really hard hitting moves, you have Duraludon. You can bring Silvally Poison if you want to be your grounded poison type. You have 2 Stealth Rockers. You have 3 pivoting mons if you include Silvally, 4 if you include Vaporeon. I really like this. This would be a fun draft to use. This would be a lot of fun. And I like Urshifu more on this because of the way that the team is kind of sort of presented more so than a Keldeo. Because a Keldeo, you're looking at more like especially offensive mon, but you have Duraludon, you have Mesprit, you have Vaporeon. Silvally can even be special or physical, but I don't really want it to be a physical cleaner. I'd want it to be I don't want it to be a special cleaner. I'm sorry, I'd want it to be a physical cleaner. So I'm gonna go with Urshifu for this. So if I wasn't going with a weather team around Silvally, I would go with this type of team, more of a fat, bulky offensive type of draft. But that's just me. If you guys would draft anything else around it, please let me know down in the comments below. But with that, I'm gonna go ahead and get on out of here. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.